it's Abby. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video about book series that I need to finish. Some of these, I'm pretty ashamed to say that I haven't finished them, and some of these, well, just haven't quite gotten the time to get around to the rest of them. I'm also in this video going to be showing you some book series that I'm going to be DNFing because they just weren't a good fit for me. I just didn't really like them all that much, or I'm just kind of over the series. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into the video and I will show you what I have. So the first book that I have is the Dark Artifices series by Cassandra Clare. I am about halfway through Lady Midnight. I have all three of the books. I have Lady Midnight, Lord of Shadows, and Queen of Air and Darkness. I just haven't gotten around to them. I absolutely love the Mortal Instruments, and it took me a long time to read those books as well, like that series. It's not that I don't love them. I absolutely love them, but I have the hardest time reading a series back to back. If you have watched any of my videos, you probably know that already. I don't like to read series back to back, so I'm currently reading Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare, and I haven't finished the series. And I'm a huge Cassandra Clare fan, so it's a little disheartening to myself that I haven't finished the series, that I haven't even finished the first book. I've heard so many good things about it, and I actually really love the characters in this book, and so it's like, why haven't you finished it, Abby? Get it together. The second book that I have kind of goes along with that. It is the Infernal Devices series, also by Cassandra Clare. I have read the first two books, Clockwork Angel and Clockwork Prince. I just need to read Clockwork Princess, and I have not done it yet. I finished Clockwork Prince in February, maybe January, I don't remember. But I haven't actually finished the series yet, and I really need to get on it because I know her new series is going to follow the grandchildren of the characters from this series, and so I just have a lot of catching up to do. But when I graduate in May and get a real job, I won't be working and going to school and doing extracurriculars and 10,000 things besides just like working, so hopefully I can get a lot more reading done and I won't have to do as much homework, which will be great, unless I start grad school in the fall, which is the plan. The next book that I have here is the Shadow Falls series. I think there's like 5 or 6 books in this series. It follows a girl who finds out that she is a part of like magical world, and she goes to this camp that has like werewolves and vampires and fairies. They don't know what she is. All they know is that she can see ghosts. And so the series is them trying to figure out what she is, along with a lot of different things going on. And it's really interesting. I loved the first book. I read it in one day. It was really good. But I never went and picked up the second book. So I need to do that soon because this is a really good series, and I love vampires and werewolves. Like, it's just, Twilight is ingrained in my head, and I love all kinds of stories like that. And so I just really need to finish the series because I know like once I start reading some more of it, I will love it again and get back into the world. I just didn't have time for it at the time, so the next series that I need to finish is the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. I have read the first book in this series, and I never read it as a child. I wanted to start reading it now, and I read the first book, and then I didn't pick up the rest of them. I started the second book. I was on page like 10, and then something came up. I think I wanted to read something else. I have no excuses, okay? I just haven't read them. The next book that I have is A Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket, and this is the first book in the series. I had read the first 3 books recently. I read probably about until the 5th or 6th book whenever I was younger, but I wanted to reread the series. I read the first 3. I'm making leeway. I just haven't finished it yet. I'm working on it, okay? I'm working on it. The next series that I have is the Red Queen series. I read the first book sometime in 2018, I don't really remember, and I really love the story, but at the time I had been reading a lot of books about like rebellion against the kingdom, and this one girl has the special ability to be able to knock down the kingdom and fix it all, and those kind of tropes, that kind of book. I've been reading a lot of them, and so once I finished this one, I was just like, I don't really want to read the rest of it right now. I hear it's a really good series, so I need to read it. I don't need to read it. I want to read it. I just haven't yet. Same with all of them. I just haven't read it yet. So no excuses. I just pick up other books and I don't finish the series, and it is an ongoing problem. Like, I think it was like it took me 7 years to finish the Mortal Instrument series. Granted, whenever I started it, only the first 4 books were out, and the last 2 weren't out, and so I very slowly picked up the last 2 books. And honestly, the ending of the 5th book, I just was kind of okay with. other than the cliffhanger at the very, very end, but I was like, problem solved. I don't need to read the rest of it. Somebody finally convinced me, like, read the last book. It will be worth it. So I read the last book, although I was mad because they totally should have ended it after the 5th book, and everybody should have been happy. It's a big rant. Don't even get me started on it. So for the second part of the video, I'm going to be getting into series that I'm going to be DNFing just because they weren't for me. I didn't really like them all that much in variable reasons. So without further ado, let's get into that part of the video. The first series that I'm going to be DNFing is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I think this is just called the Peculiar Children series by Ransom Riggs. And it follows this boy who finds out his family is peculiar, or like his grandpa was peculiar and it skipped a generation, now he is, and just a lot of things happen and it's crazy stuff, and it's like set in different times and different places. And anyways, I read the first book. I absolutely loved the first book. I read the second book and I love the second book. I have tried reading Library of Souls, I'm not kidding you, probably like 6 or 7 times, and I just can't get into it. I don't know, maybe it's because it's been like years later. Like I read this in like maybe 11th grade and I was really into it. I read the second book really quickly, and now maybe my tastes have just changed. I don't know, because it's like the premise is so good and I've been invested with these characters and I really like the characters, but I cannot get into the series anymore. Like I can't get back into it. I've tried and tried and tried, but I finally just told myself, like, Abby, just DNF the series. It's not the end of the world. So I did. I'm DNFing this series. I gave up on it a while back, actually. And I know there's another book, Map of Days, I think is what it's called. I'm not even gonna buy it. Probably gonna unhaul my series just because I don't like it. I don't know why, I just don't. The next series that I'm going to be DNFing is the Shatter Me series by Tahereh Mafi. I got to page 66 in this book, and I think I tried reading it 3 times, and it just wasn't for me. Too dystopian society for me, because I know this came out a while ago, and it was probably during the time where dystopian societies were really big, but like, in high school, I read like 5 dystopian society series back to back to back, like the Match series, Divergent, the Hunger Games, the Pandemonium series, and just like a couple others. And I'm just like, I cannot with dystopian societies anymore. I like burn myself out on them. So like I tried to pick this up because I know it's an older book, but I've heard so many good things about it. So I was like, I'm gonna read the Shatter Me series, plus Tahereh Mafi added I think like 2 more books to the trilogy. And so I was like, you know what, pick it up, maybe you'll really like it. I can't. I'm like having flashbacks from my dystopian society days. And like maybe in a couple years time, I'll be like, you know what, you're over your dystopian society fear or whatever, your block that you're having, and you're gonna read this book and you're gonna like it, and maybe that will happen. But for right now, I'm going to DNF this series. I'm not even gonna try. I'm probably gonna unhaul this series as well. Just donate it to somebody or give it to a friend. But I'm over dystopian society, so I just really can't get into it. And the last series that I'm going to be DNFing is the Beautiful Creature series by Kami Garcia and Margaret Stoll. I don't even know why I don't like this series. Like, I don't like the magic system in it. I don't like the good and the dark and the light and the good and the evil. There's just so many things I don't like about this book. And I read the first one, and then I tried to watch the movie, and gosh, those accents in the movie. I couldn't even get past the first 5 minutes of it. Like, I feel like it was probably a really good movie. I don't know, I haven't seen it. I've never really heard anything about the book to movie adaptation, but I couldn't get past the first 5 minutes because of their accents in the movie. And I'm from the South, and I couldn't stand their accents. So I didn't like the romance in the story. I didn't like the magic system. I thought it was a really slow first book until like the very end. I'm sure like with the ending that it had, I'm sure the other books pick up. I just wasn't in love with the story, and that's fine. Some people actually really love the story, love the magic system, love the romance, but it just wasn't for me. And so I'm probably going to DNF this series as well. Funny story, I actually unhauled this series a while ago. We had a book donation thing for school, and so I unhauled the series, and I was like, you know what, give it another chance. So I bought them all again, gave it another chance, started the second book. I couldn't read it. I could not get back into this series, and so here I am with my second copy of this series, and I want to DNF and unhaul it again. maybe I won't make the same mistake in the future and buy it again. Because like, it's not a bad book, it just wasn't for me. And that's the thing about any of these books that I'm DNFing, is they're not bad books. They just weren't for me particularly. Either I grew out of the story, or I am over that trope, or I just didn't like the romance. Those are the reasons why I'm DNFing these series. Alright guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. I had a lot of fun talking about the series that I need to finish and the series that I'm going to be DNFing in the future. So I will see y'all all next time. Bye!